Hi, welcome to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina. We have taken some of your most asked questions, both online and off, from friends, family, clients, and we've compiled a little list. And we're just going to start checking a few of them off today and maybe in future videos if you guys really like this kind of video. So what am I holding in my hand? I'm holding all kinds of really beautiful materials that are arriving in the mail right now. We are sourcing for all these projects. And the reason why we're able to talk about how to solve your design dilemmas is because we're working on the same exact things every day of the week with clients in real life. And this is what we love. It's what we're most passionate about. I am so excited to share our video sponsor for today, who is Squarespace. Squarespace has revolutionized how we are able to get in touch with people just like you who are in all different places in all different corners of the globe. And I cannot wait to share more with you in just a moment. We want to be able to help empower you to create the life of your dreams by creating the home of your dreams. So I'm going to set this down and we can get started. So I have compiled a list. I've looked back on the videos, I've looked at your comments. I know the things that my clients are asking in real life, the struggles that we're all facing as we create the dream life and the dream home. And sometimes there's things that get in the way. And I know just as much as you do because I do this every day of the week. And I just know sometimes there's things that feel like a hurdle that you just cannot get over. And I hope that through this video, you'll realize that some of those hurdles can actually be the greatest advantage that you have in your home. And we're just gonna jump in, okay? Because I'm just gonna start talking about all of them and it's just easier. Let's just jump in, okay? Number one is the 8-foot ceiling. Ba, ba, ba. The 8-foot ceiling. Is there any horror worse than the 8-foot ceiling? So I know that the 8-foot ceiling can feel like one of the worst things that you have to deal with in your home. But I don't think that it has to be. So often you guys are saying that you don't have these big high ceilings with all this grandeur. You know what? That's on trend, right? Okay, so let's think that through. Has ceilings always been that high? No. And the reason why is that it drains your electric bill. Trust me, I have a very open second story and you don't even want to know what my electric bill is. It's astronomical. So having high ceilings is not always the best thing in the world. It's not always practical. And what it does is it makes your space humongous and my voice echoes. Even in this room, I have to lay things down and I had to put furniture back in the room. This is not going to be a minimal space if I'm going to film in here because the ceilings are so high. So having high ceilings is not the end all be all, but it can feel that way when you have low ceilings, especially if you're really tall. And sometimes when I'm shopping for a home with a client, because we do real estate and design, sometimes when, you know, the guy, it's usually the guy, is 6'5" and he can reach up and touch the 8-foot ceilings, that may be really uncomfortable for him to live in. So that's a little bit different. If you happen to be tiny like I am at 5'1", and even with a heel to try to come back up to the world and to look like an adult, 8-foot ceilings really aren't that big of a deal. And what they can do for your space is actually make your space feel cozy. So instead of trying to fight the 8-foot ceiling, instead of just envying everybody else, which I have no room to talk. I have dreamt my entire life about being tall. Oh, to be one of those women way up there where the air I think must certainly smell better. I don't know. I get it. We just get so caught up in the envy that we have for other people in their spaces that we completely lose sight of what makes us so unique and special and cool. I tell my kids all the time, you know what? I am over 40 and I can still slide on a slide at the playground. You know, that is not the worst thing in the world. There's ropes that are setting things off and I can just go right under them. There are some benefits, people, to being a small person. So 8-foot ceilings, not the end of the world. You just have to play up what you've got. And I think what an 8-foot ceiling can do to your space is actually make it super cozy. Now, that being said, I have never actually painted a whole room black if I only had 8-foot ceilings. I've painted rooms black. You can even see it on this channel. I've actually posted those videos where we did the dining room and we did a living room combination, and we had striking colors in there, but we left the ceiling white so that it wouldn't feel too oppressive. Now you could just go all in and just go all black or all white. I really do like that feeling that you're all encompassed, and it will make the ceilings feel higher, but it doesn't mean that that's all you can do. You don't have to have a white box just because you have 8-foot ceilings. And instead of trying to think of yourself as 2-story bookcases and like I have the 2-story fireplace, you don't have to have all that stuff. You don't need all that to have an amazing room that's full of character. You can have spaces that have those low ceilings that really go for impact. Think wide. Think of the things that you can do to take the eye from going up, but take it out. And I hope that it will encourage you to just simply embrace what you have, what you've been given, and make the best of it. And stop trying to be something that you're not. Because you're never, if you have 8-foot ceilings, you're never going to be the person with those high ceilings unless you decide to move. So, or you can raise the roof. We're actually doing that right now in a project, and actually in that same house. Yeah, so we do have that. You can always raise the roof, raise the ceiling. That is an option, but not everybody has the money for that, or you're not in a place where you're able to do that. So in the meantime, do not let that stop you. Go and do what you want and create a space that you really love to live in. I wanted to take just a moment and thank our video sponsor for today, which happens to be Squarespace. We personally love Squarespace. It's a platform that we have used that hosts our blog. It's helped us with e-commerce and so many other things. And the cool thing about it is that so many of you ask me, how did I start my interior design business? Well, the truth is that it was Squarespace that helped me do that. I needed a place to be able to get the word out and visuals out about what I do and how I do it. And Squarespace was able to help me set up a portfolio, a blog. I had an e-commerce section for quite some time, and hopefully we will be bringing that back to you very soon. But it really actually helped me because when we started our business, we were overseas, and being able to connect to the world was a really big deal for us. And now that everything has moved so digital, even clients who are up the street are getting on my blog and on my portfolio to check out what we're up to and what we're doing. So Squarespace has been life-altering for us. It has given us access to our clients, our friends, and our family. So whether you want to start a design business or you just want to be able to show your mom and your best friend what you're working on in your home, we think that Squarespace is a great place to start. As someone who has such a struggle with all kinds of technology, I know that probably sounds shocking since I have so much online, but I really just don't know how to do very much, and I'm not very tech savvy. But Squarespace makes it so easy for me, and I love the way that they make it very easy to arrange the pages and to make everything really beautiful. Presentation, of course, as a designer is something that really matters to me, so they really just make it easy for me to be able to communicate to the world who I am and what I'm all about, and that is pretty cool. So if you would like to check out Squarespace for yourself, head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/House of Valentina to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So I hope that you guys will check it out. You guys know we love it and we highly recommend it. And we will leave all the information down in the description box of the video so that you can find all the details and go check it out for yourself. Now, next design dilemma question. Ooh, design dilemma number 2 is that you have a small kitchen. Now, I would say that my kitchen compared to what I see online is tiny. But compared to the kitchens that we had overseas and in the other homes that we've lived in, all 20 something of them, there's been a lot. And this is the biggest kitchen we've ever had. And sometimes I get online and I'm like, you know what our problem is? We just don't have a big enough house. I tell my husband these things and he's like, oh boy, here we go. And I'm like, we should just move so that we can have a kitchen that looks like everyone else's online. Think of all the things that we could do if we had a bigger kitchen. Well, I don't necessarily want to move. My kids are happy where they are. We love our home. We love our street. Our neighborhood is amazing. I don't really want to move. And the fact is that I don't actually need a bigger kitchen. So what I need to do is get better at embracing the small. This is not that small of a kitchen, to be perfectly honest. In my smaller kitchen than what we're seeing online in so many humongous homes with, it's got like 3 football fields worth of islands, and it's like 90 yards of the island, and it's got the breakfast, it's got all the bells and whistles and all these things. You don't have to have all that stuff. You can actually just embrace the fact that you have this smaller kitchen, petite. Again, see, good things come in small packages. You don't have to be huge to be amazing. So what I try to do with my smaller kitchen, and what I did in the past with my teeny tiny kitchens, is that I try to be very selective about the things that I put out, and I try really hard to make practical daily items that I know I'll end up having sit out be super pretty. If you're gonna have open shelving, buy pretty glasses. Make your decor and your functional life really make them work together. So a lot of times when people have really big kitchens, they actually have a little bit of an issue because they don't need all that stuff, and they end up with stuff just filling the shelves, especially up high, and it's full of stuff they don't really need. When you have a smaller space, it really makes you aware of what you really use, but focus on making the design and your everyday life really work well together. Embrace this idea that there is beauty in this everyday life, and have the things out that you actually use, and stop trying to make it an art exhibit on your countertop, and really just embrace that life and go for the more maximalist approach to what you have on the counter. You have the bowl of fruit, you have the olive oil bottle, you have your things, and it all just works together to make something that's really, really beautiful, and something that feels like you got a small kitchen instead of you have to have this small kitchen. You guys write me all the time about small entries, and I kind of laugh because I don't have an entry in my house. You literally come in the door and go straight into the family room. And sometimes I actually miss just having an entry. So I'm like, what's it like to have a small entry? That would be great, even just to have a little one. So I do some little tricks. My advice to you is to think fourth dimensionally about your space. Do you have to have every single thing in an entry? You don't have to have every single thing in an entry hallway. Think about what can be moved. Think about how you can think creatively about your space as a whole and what you can do with it. But even if you do have a smaller entry, some of the things you can do are add a big mirror. That's like an old school design trick. Add a mirror. It adds more light. It reflects back. A big mirror can make a very big difference in a very small space. Can sometimes be creepy if it's like the first thing that you walk into. Like, I never try to do that. I don't like to like walk straight in and be looking at myself. It's like, TMI, don't want to see that much of myself. But there's other ways that you can also get some space saving furniture for those areas. Double duty. I always do that for any small space that needs to serve as a space that's a drop zone. Have a beautiful piece of furniture that also functions for you to be able to store things in it. I always have a beautiful bowl for keys to be dropped into. I always think through the function first and try to make the function of life also beautiful, and that way you can really make the most of your small entry. Bum, bum, bum. What do you do if your home has no character? The horror. Guess what, guys? Okay. Here's the truth. We live in the suburbs. Our house has no character to it. And that fact is probably the thing that I struggled with the most from moving from Copenhagen, Denmark, with a home that was built in the 1850s and had so much character. It had a cobblestone path and a picket fence. And if you've watched our House Hunters International, you know that Okay, in that episode, I really, honestly, they asked me to play down my excitement because the truth of the matter is that this girl was dancing like a crazy woman when I saw that house with all that character, and I was like, please, 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 if I've ever been good ever in my entire life, please let me get this house. I love it so much. And then we moved to Atlanta, and the house has no character. The most character is probably in this room with a little bit of the lower molding, and that's about it. Everything else was builder grade. The entire house was a sea of carpet. Okay, so I get it. I get what it is like to live in a house that has no character. How can you build character into a home that has no character? You can use paint. This room looks completely different because I just owned it. It just doesn't have much going on, so I'm gonna paint it black. I'm gonna paint it black and I'm gonna make it interesting. Own what ceiling height you have. Think about adding, in my laundry room, I added stripes to the ceiling. I put down a beautiful wood floor that has character in it. This has knobs and nicks and it's authentic reclaimed flooring. Some of the other things that I like to do is add a different surround to the fireplace. That's why my fireplace is black, people, okay? That's why, because it was boring and it needed something to make it interesting, at least to me. And since a lot of you have been painting your fireplaces black and navy and all sorts of things, I'm thinking that some of you have really enjoyed that one. So paint it, go for it. Add interesting things, if you can, to the surfaces that you do add back in, whether it's flooring or tile. Try to add as much soul and character that you possibly can into the things that you are adding to your home. Your accessories are really important. Think about your furnishings. If your house has no soul and you buy all of your sofas at Costco and all of your furniture pieces and all of your decor comes from a big box store that has no patina or warmth or anything to it, it's going to feel kind of soulless, okay? But that is a very easy thing that you can fix. You can go thrift shopping. You can go and buy things online. One of my favorite places to shop is First Dibs. I have the longest list that you could ever imagine of favorite items on there, and it grows every single day. That's like my decompression moment. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's on First Dibs. And I'll go find something new that I've never seen before. It's like traveling the world right there in that website. And it's amazing how you can bring so much charm and character into your home. Etsy's another great site. That's another one that's really affordable. You can buy vintage items, put up vintage wallpaper, put up vintage pictures. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do to really bring character and infuse that into your home. You can always add stonework and details, add crown molding, add molding to the walls. Go for it. Just add the character that you are longing for. And some people will be like, but I don't know if I'll get the money back. Who cares? This is your life and you're living in this house. And for the time that you are here, you should really love the life that you're living and the home that you're in and make it amazing. Speaking of old, what you guys really say that you struggle a lot with combining new with old? I think that we all kind of ride that line. There's certain things that you just love and you don't want to get rid of, and you don't see that on Instagram, you're not seeing it on Pinterest, and you feel like it's just old and you're supposed to get rid of it even though you love it. My advice to you is to use the things in your home that bring you joy and bring you happiness and feel like they tell your story, because it is way better. At least to me, this is only just my opinion, but I think it is far better to have a home that tells a unique story than one that looks like every catalog that is coming in your mailbox and what you see online. Being interesting is so much more interesting. And so use the pieces that you just really, really love and combine things around that. I love the character that each and every one of us is, and I think that's far more interesting than everything being exactly right, some mathematical equation. So yeah, just mix it up and make it feel good to you. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. I'd love to hear more of your design dilemmas, and if you like this video, let me know, because I listen to you guys. I love reading your comments. Leave me a comment and let me know what your design dilemmas are that you are facing, or one that you have overcome in your home, because I know that we all like to get in there and read each other's comments, and we're always learning from each other. I think that's so cool. It's what I love about the internet and what I love about YouTube. It's so amazing. So thank you for stopping by. I look forward to reading all your comments and hearing from you, and I'm gonna run. I will see you guys in the next one. Oh yeah, subscribe, subscribe, notification bell, you know the drill. Go visit us on Instagram too. You'll get to see what I'm working on right now. We're doing hardwood floors. Yeah. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.